Some of these I've never even heard of. Most of these I haven't even heard on. I don't think I ever went into the Wii shop. Generic intro in the deck goes Moo here, back with another Scott the Woz video, and today we're doing a video which was the most liked comment on my last Scott the Woz video, which was Call of Duty games on the Nintendo DS. Leave my reaction to that right up there. Also link down below in the description, and possibly in a place on my channel if I ever make a Scott the Woz playlist, because I kind of enjoy these videos and I actually learn a lot about them. But this was the most liked comment on this video. It is the Wii, underpowered yet underrated. I actually had a Wii growing up. It's actually how I used to watch Netflix, fun fact, back when I had Netflix in like 2008, 2009, I want to say, way back in the day. But this is going to be a great video because it was most liked on the last video, which I read every single one of your comments, so leave them down below. Also, shout out to the patrons because they get the videos a day early, and a lot of time on my Patreon channel could not do this if it was not for them. $3 a month get you all my reaction videos a day early, so thank you so much to the patrons. And even if you're not a patron, thank you so much for being here and watching and clicking on the video and watching the video. I appreciate it so much. I read every single one of your comments, so leave them down below. But let's go ahead and jump into the Wii, underpowered yet underrated. All right.
Hey y'all, Scott here.
I mean,
talking about
the
Wii.
Wii.
Might as well get this out of the way.
And, okay, what my grandfather always said was going to happen.
The Wii is one of the most polarizing game consoles ever released. Many say it was nothing more than just a virtual bowling dust collector, and while that may be true, I personally believe that while it was very flawed,
I think my parents still have it.
Heavily underrated. The Nintendo Wii,
I mean, it could run Call of Duty, so like
console. I say that because while everybody likes a hearty dose of piss on this console at all times,
why?
Let's be honest, everybody's had a super
it can play GameCube games
one time or another on this thing. People like to dog on this poor guy for a multitude of reasons, many being totally warranted. The
like
Wii was completely underpowered compared to its competition, the PS3 and Xbox 360. It was basically just another GameCube. The Wii was home to 90% shovelware, just games that were hot trash that stained clearance bins for ages. The Wii's Online Blue. The Wii's motion controls were Gimmick Fest 2006. I mean, these are all definite problems, but I really like the Wii.
I mean, based on a lot of the comments, people really like the Call of Duty games.
The design of this bad boy is stellar. The Wii is one of the nicest looking game consoles out there.
It's also
incredibly small, compact, and it was so solid they had to include a stand with every purchase just to give the thing that much more class.
Yeah.
The disc slot would illuminate a blue
light
whenever an update for the system was available.
A console
which was tart and annoying, but it's
from
totally
anybody
forgiven
would
for
be
a
like
thing around the block known as GameCube backwards compatibility. And that was, in my opinion, one of the Wii's greatest strengths. It was totally
also how tiny those
Nintendo
discs were. I think
you had access
we still have our
the
GameCube as well.
Wii and GameCube libraries, and in addition to that, every other Nintendo home console, other systems, and smaller downloadable Wii games via the Wii Shop channel. The Wii was the introduction to the Virtual Console brand, which were just
what
other
are
games now
Wii
available
points
on a digital storefront. But let's not forget another third of what was available on the Wii Shop channel, WiiWare, which was the brand used to describe downloadable smaller Wii games.
Crunchyroll,
was definitely
free.
a hodgepodge of quality, but there were some pretty great WiiWare games out there back in the day. Dr. Mario Online RX, Fluidity, Mega Man 9 and 10, Excite Bike World Rally,
none of these games I've played,
and so on. And then we had
I don't think I ever went into the Wii shop
with a mandatory system menu. Yeah, the GameCube had this thing of a system menu going on, but the Wii menu was mandatory to peruse to get anywhere. Different applications were considered channels, which were either preloaded on the system or downloadable via the shop channel, and man, did the Wii ever have channels. The disc channel was always a mainstay in the family,
oh yeah, of
course.
Great
crowd pleaser, but once you were all out of games to play, where better to
when
look
would you
than
run out of
the
games?
Mii channel. Making your own custom avatars was never as simple and fun as making Mii's was.
I guess they're never going to make anything like the Wii again, are they?
Look, or how close you can make it to look
everything
to
now is like
person.
handheld.
But man, was I ever into the photo channel. This channel is barely talked about to this day, and that angers me more than anything photo channel
what is
related
the photo
should. The Wii came with an SD card slot, which meant you could take photos from it and display them on the big screen, and also let you go wireless effects. When
so
you
you could actually
become
like
an elite member of the Economic Stimulation Squad, the Wii Shop channel was always there, and of course, who could forget the forecast and news channels? Just channels to keep you up to date with the latest news and weather forecasts, but if you wanted to stay up to date with Nintendo games, then you had to download the Nintendo channel, which I spent way too much time on as a kid.
I definitely did not. I've never watched a Nintendo Direct
for Wii and DS
before.
games other than a Wii
People be like, oh,
titled
you should
Nintendo
stream it. I'm like, I don't know when it's going to happen.
But it also included downloadable demos for Nintendo DS games you could play by wirelessly connecting your DS to the Wii. The Internet channel was
you can connect your DS to the Wii?
Back in 2008, and I would talk about the Everybody Votes channel, but I don't want to get into politics. The Check Me Out channel allowed you to upload your craziest Mii creations and compete in Mii-related character creation contests.
I didn't even know about
this stuff. Most of these channels have been discontinued by Nintendo. The only ones really usable these days are the Disc Me, Photo, and Wii Shop channel, and even the Wii Shop channel will be discontinued in early 2019.
Oh, well, it's already gone.
Message board, which allowed you to send messages to friends, which I never used because the Wii's online infrastructure was great. gross. I mainly used it to track my playtime of games. I know more consoles do this. I love knowing how fucking useless I was being some days by seeing just how much
they
Mario
don't want
Galaxy
you to
I
know
was
how
playing.
long,
Speaking
how much
of the
time
Wii's
you spent.
Online, obviously one of the console's biggest turnoffs. It just seemed like for everything the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 did right with online
Xbox Live.
gaming, the Wii was just
Is it still called Xbox Live,
profusely
or is
at
it
the
just
thought of the
Xbox
internet.
Gold or
Some
something?
games worked really well, like Mario Kart Wii and GoldenEye 007. Yeah, that's all I got. What most people point at was the performance of Super Smash Bros. Brawl Online, as it
I only ever played
hard.
Melee for one
Majority
weekend.
Of other titles worked okay, but their performance was a far
Also,
cry
Smash
from
Bros. On a
Nintendo's
Wii?
competitors at the time. Oh yeah, and the Wii's
How do
controller
you
was this
control?
honking thing, the Wii Remote, or sometimes referred to as the Wiimote. Either people hate this thing or can tolerate it. I can definitely tolerate it.
I can
The Wii
definitely
Remote was
tolerate
actually
it.
Really
I just
simple
hate
you
when
got
it was,
down to
like,
Basically,
inaccurate.
an accelerometer and an IR sensor gave this thing the magic that was required for Wii Sports Bowling. The motion controls
Just
work well
bowling.
most of the time. It
Just
depends on
bowling.
the game, in which problems can be attributed to bad programming a lot of the time. Of course, this design is a bit on the simple side for games released in the late 2000s, early 2010s, so plug in a
Yeah.
nunchuck for more advanced control options because,
sure.
gasp, is that an analog stick? Not enough? Well, you can always pop this bad boy into a wheel or a gun shell for an extra hearty dose of unnecessary.
Well, the gun
But of course,
thing
you
actually
could pop
worked well
this
for
nugget onto the
Call of
bottom
Duty.
the controller to make the Wii Remote do what Nintendo said it could do at the very start.
More
The
accurate.
Wii Motion Plus came out in correlation with Wii Sports
Yeah.
Resort and added a gyroscope into the mix, which allowed for more precise motion control. This was later
Oh.
fully built into new Wii Remotes named Wii Remote Plus. But hey, if you're like
Oh, I
way
didn't-
into not
okay.
using the Wii Remote, the classic controller and classic
I mean, I knew
controller
about the
Pro
little-
sufficed as
the
solid
little
ways to play
brick on the
compatible
bottom.
games with more standard controllers. And if you wanted to use
Oh, I remember the Christmas that those came out.
A few other games other than just
Those
Wii
things were
Fit,
impossible
I'm
to
fine
find.
using the
Of course
Wii
you still
Remote,
have
but
it.
it is nowhere near my favorite
Or
controller.
it's at my parents',
Its
at least.
versatility is neat, how they designed so many ways to play games with it, but overall,
With how many
there
few
are
buttons
definitely
there
other
are.
controllers I'd rather play games with.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, onto the games, which is what I think makes the Wii so underrated. There were so many great first-party Nintendo games released
Well,
on this
the
thing.
Wii
It
was a big
nuts.
deal.
And it had a good amount of solid third-party games, plus some hidden gems. It definitely wasn't up to snuff with the GameCube's library, in my opinion, but comparing it to, say, the Wii U or Nintendo 64...
Is it Metroid?
The Wii definitely brought the
The
goods in the
Samus?
form of quality Nintendo exclusives. The launch of the system on November 19th, 2006
Oh,
brought us
I'm
Wii
old.
Sports, The Legend of
Wii
Zelda
Sports.
Twilight Princess, and Excite Truck. Wii Sports,
Wow.
I gotta say, is one of the most important games
You
of
know,
all time. You can
how
stop
crazy
as much
Zelda's
as you
up there with
want, but you
legends
gotta
like
stop
Strike
at some
Truck.
point and admit, Wii Sports was a really fun game, and
Oh,
it
I
brought
loved
so
it.
many
Oh, I
people
loved it.
together. As a pack-in, there was a lot of replayability here, and while
Oh,
motion
that's
controls were
the
definitely
Hummer
still a
Derby.
bit primitive and in their early stages, they worked well enough that it made it consistent.
I did a
enough
Summoning
to
Salt
play.
video
But of course,
on
if you weren't
Wii
into
Sports.
That, you got Twilight Princess at launch, one of the most hyped up Zelda games of all time.
Never played
regardless
Zelda.
of your opinion on
I will-
Twilight
I
Princess.
plan on streaming
Having
it.
a Zelda game at launch is surely a plus. And Excite Truck, an odd bugger to round the 3 Nintendo launch titles out, but still a really solid game for the system.
Have not
Wii
heard of it.
series
It literally
games were
looks like
always a
the thing
mainstay
that
on
you
the
see at like an
console.
arcade.
These were mostly fun games that really took advantage of the controller's capabilities. Not the system's capabilities, good god no. These games look like they were designed with 4 tubs of Play-Doh and nothing more. Wii Sports Resort, Wii Party, Wii Play, all have loads of fun to be had in them. But of course, there's also...
Wii Music.
Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 are excellent in the form of 2 discs. I said it before and I'll say it again. I plan to talk about these games at length soon, but for the time being, good job Nintendo. But if you wanted some 2D Mario action, Nintendo made a new 2D Mario game on a home console for the first time in decades, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Yeah, the art style is bland and it doesn't feel as magical as playing Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World for the first time.
I would not have
But the new
guessed that
Super
it's
Mario
on a
Brothers
Wii.
series is like comfort food. The Wii entry is a solid game and one of the better in the new Super series.
I've never played a
Also
Mario game
introduced
outside of
simultaneous
Mario Kart.
multiplayer, but that was a mistake. Donkey Kong Country came swinging back courtesy of Retro Studios with Donkey Kong Country Returns, and what a game. I'm not a fan of the motion controls being used in this game, so I would personally recommend the 3DS version, but still, DKC Returns
Which one doesn't look better on the
fantastic.
3DS or the
Kirby
Wii?
made a comeback on the Wii as well. While the series remained pretty consistent on handhelds, Kirby's Epic Yarn in 2010 was the first Kirby home console game since Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube.
Oh, I
in
remember
2003.
Kirby
And that was
Air
a
Ride.
racing game. If we're talking platformers, it was since Kirby 64 in 2000. And Epic Yarn was pretty neat, man. And yeah, it doesn't have a lot of the tropes of standard Kirby games, but it's so pleasant to look at. It's just a fun game to relax and take your time through. Kind of like most Kirby games.
Yeah.
If you wanted some standard Kirby action just a year later in 2011, Return to Dreamland pummeled onto shelves, and hey, it's a standard Kirby game.
Yeah,
a bit too generic Kirby for me personally, but I still enjoyed the game. And a year after that, Nintendo's final release on the Wii, Kirby's Dream Collection, commemorating the 20th anniversary of the franchise. A really great compilation, featuring for the most part the first half of Kirby's platformer history. What wasn't a really great compilation was Nintendo's offering during the 25th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. Nintendo re-released Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo on a Wii disc for $30, and
not bad price.
Was like a history booklet and soundtrack CD.
For $30?
It's just a ROM dump of the SNES original, a compilation remake of Mario 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Levels. Not one of Nintendo's greatest efforts,
where'd they go?
Definitely. And speaking of Nintendo being lazy as piss, New Play Control.
Pikmin.
This was a series of games re-released that were simply
Dude, I would get so sad when I lose Pikmin.
Maybe with a few extra additions here and there. Some games like Pikmin 1 and 2
aren't they like Pikmin 4 now?
Controls, while Mario Power Tennis just feels tacked on. I don't know. Sometimes I really like what New Play Control brought to the table, but other times it's like I can already play GameCube games on the Wii. Re-releasing these things don't really do too much in terms of the concept of making sense. 2 Zelda games and 2 Metroid games. What a world we live in.
I didn't know Metroid was ever on the Wii.
Coming at launch and also being available on the GameCube, Wii owners would have to wait 5
years
for a Zelda game made from scratch for the Wii.
A shoebill stork?
Definitely not one of the most beloved Zelda games at the moment due to its over-reliance on linearity, motion controls, and hand-holding. But watch in 5 years, people will consider it the best Zelda game. Metroid got a fair amount of love
video
on the Wii,
is
with Metroid Prime 3
6 years, so let's see, is that actually true? I don't know.
The first 3 Prime games with Wii remote controls, and
Other M.
Other M is considered one of the worst Metroid games, but I haven't played it, so let's just avoid this conversation entirely.
Oh, okay.
Smash
I mean, you have it, why
Mario
didn't you
Kart
play
are
it?
the 2 heaviest hitters of a Nintendo console these days. Mario Kart Wii was never one of my favorites, but hey, it's still a really solid Mario Kart. And Smash Bros. Brawl, my god, I will defend this game till the cows come home.
Why?
Is it a great competitive game?
No, Brawl was the one that came before Ultimate, isn't it?
Elements like tripping and an unbalanced character roster. But it's a good, decent, great, solid game, man. Like, it has so much in it. Has such an amazing character roster. It had a Wikipedia article detailing every Nintendo game released just for funsies. I really love Brawl as a game. I think it gets a bad rap for its lack of competitive nature, but man, I still think it's a really
everything compared to Ultimate is probably. I mean, Melee
still is phenomenal.
Like,
a bit too
nostalgic,
nostalgia,
legendary,
but still crazy fun and a great game. Now, of course, Nintendo had loads of other games on this thing: The Return of Sin and Punishment, Xenoblade Chronicles, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, Animal Crossing City Folk, Battalion Wars 2, WarioWare Smooth Moves, and Wario Land Shake It.
Have not
Big
played
Brain
any
Academy,
of these games.
Mario Strikers Charge, Mario Super Sluggers, Effin' Excitebots. But
wow,
still,
have not played a single one of those.
On the Wii. F-Zero, Star Fox, the other Mario sports games, Yoshi. But hey, some third-party offerings definitely made the gaps a little less wide with releases like Klonoa, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom.
Some of these I've never even heard of. Most of these I haven't even heard of.
Better modern Sonic titles. Also, the Wii was the first time we saw Mario and Sonic team up. What a whirlwind and a half. No More Heroes gained quite the cult following. Light Gun Games finally had a system to call their own. GoldenEye 007 is a crazy fun first-person shooter. Third parties didn't sleep on the Wii. But of course, I'm leaving out a solid 9/10 of the Wii's library, which is this stuff. Yeah, the Wii was filled with shovelware, had less than stellar specs, with some pissy online, motion controls, and missing
what is shovelware exactly?
But the Nintendo
just like
games
low
that
quality,
did appear on it
like asset
were
flips.
mostly pretty great, and man,
As
there are some third-party offerings that definitely rock. The Virtual Console was awesome on the Wii, feeling much more fleshed out and thoughtful than forthcoming Nintendo console's legacy content offerings. It ain't perfect. But I think many should definitely look more at the positives with the Wii, as they will definitely find something they'd like. It's an underrated console that, while flawed, delivered a lot more than you may recall.
I remember it being a big deal.
System, but it shouldn't be chastised for popularizing motion control. Rather, it should be celebrated for its amazing first-party lineup, interesting concepts, and great hidden gems, is what I would say if I was fucking asinine. Do you really think I'd be in support of Virgin McGames console over here? Please, I'm operating on a strict anti-Virgin policy.
What? I mean, is it? I don't know if it... I think it's underrated. I mean, at the time, it was a huge deal. The fact that it had backwards compatibility, like, out the gate, pretty good. Like, and the fact that they added, like, better remotes, the gyroscope sensor, you know, the nunchuck. Like, they included everything from the get-go, which nowadays is something people probably wish we had back. Like, I feel like nowadays the nunchuck would be an accessory, like something that goes along with the controller to improve the gaming experience. would, you know, probably be like an extra charge. A stand will probably be an extra charge nowadays. So I'm not really sure. I appreciate the Wii for what it was. It was really fun. I enjoyed Wii Sports so much, and I will always have fond memories of the Wii, playing the Wii, watching Netflix, watching Avatar: Last Airbender, because that's actually how I finished the entire series. Like, I watched it all on Nickelodeon, and then once I got Netflix, back when Netflix used to actually send you discs, and I would actually get Netflix on the Wii, and that's how I went through and rewatched Avatar: Last Airbender, make sure I watched every single episode. But always have fond memories of that. Let me know what the next Scott the Waz video should be down below in the comment section. You can see one you agree with. Definitely like it as your way to kind of like vote for it, and that kind of helps me decide what the next one's going to be. But I look forward to reading your comments. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. But until the next video, take care and cue the music.
We were